Perfect.
My name is DiGiacamo. I'm here in Kinder Morgan Yates Field, just outside of Iran, Texas. And today I'm going to show you how to calibrate a basic sediment and water probe, or BS&W probe for short. BS&W probe is a very important tool that we use here in Yates Field. It helps us accurately count the amount of oil and water that goes into our oil leg on our three-phase separator. Here I have a three-phase separator. Gas goes out the top, water goes out the bottom, and oil comes out this side. Sometimes there's a little bit of oil that is mixed in with our water. When the operator comes out here, they use the BS&W probe to tell them how much water is coming with their oil. So this way they can accurately count their wells, how much their wells are producing. They can set their levels in their vessels, and they can also set their chemical rate for the vessel, which the chemical helps break out the oil and water. So today we're going to go ahead and calibrate this basic sediment and water probe. The first thing you have to have is, right here I have a Fluke 771 DC amp clamp, which reads milliamps. I have a Fluke 787 process meter, which I use to measure my voltage, and I also have a small calibration screwdriver. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this lid off. While you're getting your stuff ready, you need to have your operator go ahead and get a shakeout so you know what to set your BS&W probe for. I already have my operator do that, and I need to set this to 3% basic sediment and water. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my Fluke on. I set it to voltage DC. Hook it in here on the calibration ports. One's black, one's red. It corresponds with your leads on your Fluke. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my Fluke 771. Okay, it's powering up, and I make sure it's zeroed. Now on the 771, when you hook it up on this red wire here, which is the 4 to 20 milliamps, I'm going to hook it up with the arrow facing away from the card. Alright, I got it hooked up now. Basically the way the BS&W probe works is it measures the water and the oil that's inside of it using capacitance. It then turns it into a 4 to 20 milliamp signal, which we send back to our process logic controllers for analysis by the operators. So we're going to go ahead here and start to calibrate it. I need to do a quick mathematical equation to get this calibrated. It's at 3% BS&W, so I need to take 3 times 5 units of measurements, which will be 0 to 5 volts. So I take 0.03, which is 3%, and it will be 0.15. So I need to set it my lower range scale to 0.15, which right now it's at 0.16, so it's pretty close on, but we'll just go ahead and get it right on there. Here you have the 0 and the output span. What we're going to concentrate on here is the 0. I need to make sure my toggle switch is on the probe. Since we're doing the lower portion, like I said, we're going to go ahead and do 0. I always use the C, which will be your coarse measurements. You can use the F, which is for fine measurements, but you can really get it with this C a lot easier. So you go ahead and start to turn it slowly. Alright, I'm going the wrong way, so I need to turn it the other way. Right there I got it at 0.152 volts, which is plus or minus 3%, so I'm within my range. I'm going to go ahead then and switch my toggle switch to reference, check my voltage DC, and it's at 5.32. I need to get that down to 5. So I'll go on the output span, and I'll adjust that down to 5 volts. Alright, I got a 5.06. That would be plus or minus 3%. Now I'm going to go back to probe. I need to go back to probe and redo my 0 on my voltage, because when you set the output span, it changes your reference point. So I'll go back here and adjust that a little bit. Alright, I got a 0.149, which is plus or minus 3%. Alright, now I switch back to reference. It's 5.06. I can go ahead and adjust that a little bit again. Okay, and it's at 5.0. All right, now I go back to probe and make sure I'm still on 0.15. Okay, now that I got my voltage set, I need to go ahead and get my 4 to 20 milliamp set. So on the 771, it actually has a percentage on there, so you don't have to go ahead and do your mathematical calibrations. You can just look at the percentage. Now when you're adjusting the 4 to 20 milliamp on your probe side or your reference side to what you're calibrating it to, you need to go ahead and use the 4 to 20 milliamp adjustment screw. Stick your screwdriver on there, and you gotta make real tiny adjustments. It's at 3.9% right now, so you need to make tiny turns with this. It's really sensitive, and it takes a second or two for the meter to actually read the milliamps. So you need to kind of take your time while you're doing it. Okay, I got it at 2.9%, which is close enough, plus or minus 3%. Oh, it's 3%. Okay. So then I'm going to go back to my reference, and I'm going to check my reference on my 4 to 20 milliamps. I use the same adjustment screw, the output span, as I did for the voltage. I'm going to turn that to make it 100%. I got it at 98%, and right there's 100%. Okay, now I'm going to switch back to probe, and it's off a little bit on the 4 to 20, your lower range value, which is I got 3.4%. So I'll go back on my 4 to 20 milliamp adjustment screw, adjust that back to 3%. Okay, I got it at 3.1%, so it's close enough. Then switch back to reference, and it's at 99.9%, so that's plus or minus 3%. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go back to my voltage, and I'm going to look at my lower range only. Okay, and it's 0.152, so it's within the range. Okay, once you're done with that, you're done calibrating it. You can go ahead and disconnect your leads. All right, now before you put the cover back on, you need to make sure that this toggle switch is in reference. And we'll go ahead and put the cover back on, make sure it's nice and tight. One thing I want you to remember about today is that the BS&W Probe uses capacitance to measure the amount of oil and water that's going through this line right here. It is used by the operators. The percentage of oil and water is used by the operators to set their levels in their vessels, know how much they need to adjust their chemical, and to do it, so we can accurately count the amount of oil and water that each well makes out in Yates Field. If there's any questions about any of this material, please let me know, and I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you.